PokeBabs! Hey guys, welcome back to PokeBabs. Today we are again going to another PokeBeach tournament. This is the August tournament, and I'm liking trying to play a different deck each month, just because it's more content to show you guys, and also it lets me learn other decks and helps test my skill and that sort of thing. So, this month we are going to be trying out a Medicham based deck, and it's important to note that the tournament is actually based off of the XY to only XY to Fates Collide, so it doesn't include Steam Siege, so that's why you're not going to see any Steam Siege cards in here. I'm not sure necessarily what would be added. There's probably a few things, but like I'm sure that I would add a Ninja Boy or two, but as is, this is what we've got, and let's take a look at it. So it's going to be based around the main attacker being Medicham. So we've got a 4/4 line. It's got this this ancient trait here, which allows us to attack twice in one turn, which is great. And we have two attacks. Calm Mind for colorless heals 30 damage, and then the main attack here is going to be Yoga Kick. For 2 fighting, we do 30, and it's not affected by weakness or resistance. And that's pretty key. The not being affected by weakness or resistance, I think at this point probably helps a little more than it hurts. Sure, it would be nice to hit a Darkrai or something like that for weakness, but being able to hit through Yveltal also is really important. So we've got those 2 attacks there. So we've got a 4/4 line there. We've also got... so we've got to find a way to power this up, because standard is definitely sped up a lot. It's not as fast as expanded, but it's sped up a lot, and so we need to find a way to power up quickly, and we're going to do that with the Carbink Break. So Carbink Break here, as we saw in the Steelix video, for example, we see it's got this attack Diamond Gift for 20, or does 20 damage for a fighting, and then we attach 2 energy cards from our discard pile to one of our fighting Pokemon. So, again, those can be strong energy or basic fighting energy or really anything. But that's the idea with Carbink Break. And then there's also, obviously, the Carbink with Safeguard, which is really nice for just putting your opponent into awkward situations where they have to Hex Maniac or try and find a way around. And so it can be difficult for them. So we've got a 3-2 line there. This may be our preferred starter. It depends on the matchup. If we are allowed to take a turn to set up, then we want a Diamond Gift probably first. So that's kind of the main setup there. In addition to that, we've got some other Pokemon for support. We've got a Hawlucha, which is nice because it's got free retreat. And the Flying Press attack is also pretty good. It does 60 as long as the Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. And it's also not affected by weakness or resistance. So... pretty good there, but if nothing else, it's just nice to have that free retreater. We've also got Regirock. This is mostly here just for this Regi power so that we can do 10 damage more with our fighting Pokemon. So that's useful. Bedrock Press, the attack can come in handy though every once in a while, especially since you can power it up in 2 turns with Carbink. And then we've got Zygarde, and this is mostly just because in certain matchups you might just want to have something that has more HP or that can do more damage. So being able to, like, this Attack Yourself Storm can be really useful, especially if you're in the sort of situation where you're not getting hit for a lot of damage. You can heal 30 and still be doing 60 damage. So kind of nice there, and of course Regirock helps out the Zygarde as well, along with strong energy. We've got 1 Shaymin-EX for the setup ability. Draw until we have 6 cards in our hand. I think it's hard to play decks without a Shaymin-EX. I think you could play this without Shaymin-EX, but it's every once in a while it comes in a lot of handy in this deck. So, all right. So we've also got Battle Compressor, 2 of those, so we can get the fighting, our strong energies, fighting energies, and our supporters in our discard pile. We've got 1 Level Ball. Would actually like to play more than 1 if possible, just because it can search for Carbink, Hawlucha, Meditite, and Medicham. But I think 1 is good enough. It's really nice to, on your first turn, play Korrina. grabbing a Medicham and a Level Ball. So you can get out, or sorry, Meditite and a Level Ball. So you can get out 2 Meditites. So we're playing 3 Korrinas. These are great because it's kind of the engine behind the deck. Getting a fighting Pokemon on an item, really, really helpful. If you get a Korrina on the first turn, you're usually happy. We've got a Professor's Letter because that has great synergy with Korrina. Making sure we get energy early on the game. Missing energy attachments can be difficult for this deck, especially early energy attachments. Later in the game, not so much, but early on, it's very important to get your energy down, especially if you want to set up multiple Medicham. And that's the main idea also with Carbink, is to be setting up one Medicham while also manually setting up a second one, so that if you get Lysandre or something like that, you can work around it. Let's see, we've got a Sacred Ash. Shuffle 5 Pokemon back in your deck. Could be a Super Rod. I like Sacred Ash just because then you can get 2 full Medicham lines back, plus something else. You can get Shaymin back if you either discard it or bump it or something like that, or if it gets knocked out. So nice there. Play a Megaphone. Again, when you play Korrina, these one-of item cards become way more accessible. And Megaphone right now is great, especially your opponent might put a lot of tools down, so it's better than Xerosic in that sense. And it's nice to get rid of like float stones on Garbodor, that type of thing. You can also, a nice trick you can do is, get rid of a float stone on a Garbodor or Hoopa and then Lysandre in the same turn. So that's helpful with Startling Megaphone. We have 3 Ultra Ball. Again, we probably could change the Ultra Ball and Level Ball count, but I like having more Ultra Ball specifically because we're playing the Shaymin-EX. And it's also helpful to get stuff like Regirock and Carbink Break as well. We got 4 VS Seeker, not a big surprise there. We have, in terms of items, we have 2 Float Stone. We need a way to get these heavy retreat cost guys out of the active. Specifically looking at things like Regirock and Zygarde that have 3 retreat cost, which can be really hard to deal with when your opponent Lysandres or Regirock. So just being prepared and getting Float Stones on them when you can is great. Sometimes helpful to throw on a Carbink as well, or a Shaymin, so we don't have to waste energy. And then the big card in this deck is going to be Focus Sash. So we're playing 4 of them, and it's really fantastic card for fighting decks. What it does here is if it's attached to a fighting Pokemon and it has full HP and it was going to be knocked out, then instead it's at 10 HP and you discard the tool. And this is fantastic because if you have like a Meditite on the bench with a Focus Sash and your opponent wants to knock it out, they have to either Megaphone and Lysandre or Xerosic and then Lysandre later, or they Lysandre and they can't knock it out, they just get rid of the Focus Sash. So a lot of times it buys you a turn against a lot of different decks. And when your opponent sometimes tries to break the Sash through certain things, that's where Calm Mind can come in handy. You can take a knockout with Yoga Kick if possible, and then Calm Mind for 30 to heal yourself back up to full HP. Really nice there. We've got 4 Strong Energy, 5 Fighting Energy, and then just some of the other supporters: AZ, Hex Maniac, Lysandre, N, and Xerosic are all one-ofs. And then 3 Professor Sycamore. Playing more, probably could play even a 4 Sycamore. It's nice because we don't mind getting rid of certain things in the deck like our energy. Because of Carbink Break, it'd be nice to have another N, but I just had some tightness in this list. I noticed also Fighting Stadium is pretty important for getting the double or the knockout on EXs with Medicham hitting twice. So doing 20 more to your opponent's EXs. So that's the deck, and next video we'll be looking at the first round matchup. Thanks for watching.